All right, good morning, everyone. So we're gonna get started here, breaking down the watch list. There we go. It's about 9 a.m., 30 minutes to the bell. No trades yet for me pre-market. Gap scanner is looking a little on the light side. We don't have a lot of really good gappers here. The leading gapper is CSCW. However, this one is selling off a little bit here, back down towards the volume weight average price. Well, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's just pulling back a little bit. It's a 58 million share float. Seems like, it's just kind of, I don't know. Right now, it just doesn't look all that interesting. It's just not moving a lot. It's kind of just a little, sluggish. Not all that interesting. So you're talking about a range here of like 40, 50 cents. That's just not a very big range. So right now, I don't really like that one. VTSI, second leading gapper. This one had made a move all the way up to 15 at 4 in the morning. Early pre-market. And then rolled over. So, it's always tricky when you have a stock go from 6 to 15 and then comes back down to 7. It retraced the majority of its gains. Now, if it was able to get back over the volume weight average price, then we're in a situation kind of like what we had on, what was it last week? APOP, where, APOP had pulled back and then it kind of curled up and it ended up giving a nice dollar plus a share move, into the open. So it's not impossible that we could see a move on VTSI. The float is 7.3 million shares. You have quarterly earnings of 21 cents a share, beating the consensus of 9 cents a share. So, and compared to a loss a year ago. So, this is all, this is what's justifying the move up here this morning. So the relative volume, well, yesterday's volume was 186,000 shares, and this morning it already has 4.5 million shares of volume. So that's a huge relative volume ratio, which is good. We like to see that, no doubt about it. But as it sits right now, I'm not sure that, it's below the volume weight average price. I'm not sure that I'm really interested in trading it. While sometimes, sometimes I'll trade under the VWAP in certain scenarios if I think it has a good chance of breaking back over it. So in something like this, if it gets up towards 7 and looks like it maybe, might make an effort of breaking through that level, maybe I would jump in at that point. But as it sits right now, I'm not interested. It's also easy to borrow. It's 100%. It's cash, no leverage can be used on it. So I don't know. I'm just not really that into it right now. So the next one down is PFMT. $1.86, a little on the cheap side, has also pulled back, but plus it's on the cheaper side, not interested. BioC, this one, 13 million share float, 800,000 shares of volume pre-market. It's a stock that has a history of making moves, but more, you can see these high green volume bars. These are days where it made bigger moves. So, it does have that history, but, it's still, even on this one, I'm going to kind of mark out the daily chart a little bit. So pre-market, the high is, let's see, was way up at 730. So, let's just look at this for a second. Check out our daily levels. So daily levels on this, we've got this kind of resistance up here at 738 or 838. There's 7, there's 750, and then going up further. This is all chapter 4 of the Warrior Pro class. Which of these levels are resistance, which are potential triggers. Okay. It's above the VWAP. High there was 656, but I don't know. Doesn't look that interesting at the moment. MBRX, 27 million share float. High was a little over 5. Big red candle back here where it gapped up and faded. I don't think I'm interested in that one. TLSA, not to be confused with Tesla, 97 million share float. ABCL, 150 million share float. MNPR, I think I might have jumped over that one. Interesting. So you see here pre-market around 735. This one spikes up and then it kind of pulls back. The trigger that I would say, or the pivot, would be 765. If it broke that level, then we might look for another move up to the pre-market highs, but it's got to get back over the volume weighted average price first. EEIQ yesterday, there was a nice opportunity at the open, but it didn't hold up. It sold off. UPC sold off yesterday as well, pretty hard. Wiki actually held up okay. Just a sort of small pullback. Yeah, this is sort of a longer ABCD pattern, maybe more of like a, the problem is you've got that topping tail there, but I just don't think that this looks all that interesting. So, you know, some days everything looks awesome. We got a couple really nice gappers. We have momentum early, and you know, we've got something to work with. Yesterday we didn't have much. I didn't trade pre-market. I traded when the bell rang. Today, no trades yet pre-market, not seeing anything that looks that interesting. So if the best days start with a couple nice trades pre-market, then that kind of already tells me today's not going to be one of my best days. It at best would be sort of a base hit day. That's what it's looking like right now. So I would probably reduce my expectations on the day. I don't think it's likely I would have a $20,000 or $30,000 green day today based on what I'm seeing. I think 5 to 10,000 would be more realistic, but that's only if we see something kind of pick up and start to move once the bell rings. I was only using the 15-minute actually. Thanks for reminding me. I gotta switch it back. I was only using it to look at the CSCW chart, and yeah, I haven't even looked at the level 2 on it, but you can see the level 2 on this is so stacked up. This is not a stock that's really, I don't know, likely to make a big move. It's already up 67%, but I would be surprised if it went another 67% to up, 100% or whatever. You never know. Sometimes these will surprise you, but it doesn't look like the type of stock that would do that. So Sea Change International offering at $1.85, 10 cents above the current price. Yeah. So I think today's a day to be patient. No reason to get too aggressive. So overall market, we could take a peek at the S&P 500. Just kind of a steady grind. It's been a nice rally and recovery over the last year. remarkably, the S&P 500 is up. I mean, it's really remarkable. It's nearly 100% in 1 year, from the low of 218 to just under 400. We hit 440, and that's 100%. 100% off the low. It's quite something. Joseph posting a early P&L up $742. Nice, Joseph. Traded PFMT and VTSI. Oh, good for you. Yeah, Viacom, there was some news out at the end of the week, last week, of that, what is it, Tiger Asia, I can't remember what the name of his fund is, but a hedge fund that sounds like went under, and I'm not sure. I think there's still speculation of which, kind of what stock broke the camel's back there, but it might have been Viacom. Yeah, they got a margin call and had to liquidate $30 billion or something like that in assets. GameStop, yeah, just not really into trying to actively trade this right now. At this price range, the days it was fun was when it was on really high volume, making a crazy big move, and it's now just sort of not in a place where it's that interesting to me. High volume on the 1 minute. That's a good question. Is what do I consider high volume on the 1 minute? I don't know. I usually am looking for volume or for the stock to be spiking, so moving really quickly. If you have something moving really quickly, even GameStop, there were times where it was moving very quickly, basically straight up. The volume wasn't necessarily really high in total number of shares traded, but it was just ripping. So I really look more at rate of change than volume on 1 minute candles. I really don't have a standard of a 1 minute candle should have this much volume. I just have never really kind of looked at it that way. I'm mostly looking at rate of change. How fast is this thing moving? And it's always relative, because high volume on one stock could be low volume on another stock. So it's always about what's relative. This is a little bull flag right in here. However, I very rarely would take a 5 minute bull flag under the volume weighted average price. I might take a 1 minute bull flag under the VWAP. If it rips up to the VWAP, does a 1 minute kind of micro pullback bull flag, then long. But an actual 5 minute bull flag under the VWAP, the fact that it's been consolidating for 5 minutes already just tells me that it's not strong enough to break that level. So I'm not interested in that right now. Thank you guys tuning in on YouTube and Facebook. I hope you guys hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Looks like we've got about 5,000 people streaming here as we're coming into the open. Yes, I looked at CSCW, and my comment on it was it feels very thickly traded. It's a 58 million share float. It's a very stacked up level 2, and I'm not sure if it's going to be one that is really that big of a mover. I just don't know. It's $2.32, so at this price, in order for me to make good money on it, I would need to buy 30 or 40 or 50,000 shares. And then, of course, my commissions are higher, and I'm just not really interested in doing that on this one. I don't see the potential there. VTSI, I don't see a lot of potential on this one unless it gets above $8, above the VWAP. PFMT is too cheap. I don't really care for that. BioC, it is above the VWAP, but that big red candle from pre-market plus the red candle yesterday, it just doesn't look that interesting. MBRX and MNPR. I don't see anything that looks good this morning. So 13 minutes to the bell. Better to take no trades than losing trades. Let's see, I'll import my trades from yesterday so we can see where I sit on the month. If this was my first day in a small account challenge, for instance, I'd probably say, I'll just come back tomorrow. It's not really worth it. I mean, if nothing looks good, we were talking about, or actually we didn't hear that, but we did an interview yesterday with a 100K club student, which will get added to chapter 17, and we were talking about how he's been off to a really good start. He joined in July of just this last year. He's already got over $100,000 in profits. He's been at it for less than a year. And he said, I feel like I kind of just joined at a great time. Like the market has just been so strong. I feel like this is what he was saying to me. I feel like I'm not totally confident that I've really got it yet because I just keep saying, well, I'm doing well now, but the market's so strong. And we were talking a little bit about that timing issue of it's sort of the luck of the draw when you start trading in terms of what is the market? Is this a good time to be doing a small account challenge, or did you just happen to start at a time when the market was super choppy? 2-3 years ago, the market wasn't as hot as it's been in this last year. So I think for people that started in the last year, they had the opportunity to trade in some very volatile market conditions, which has been a good opportunity. So anyways, this is where I finished yesterday, 10,000. This has been my last kind of month of trading, the last 30 days here. This was the 30 trading days. So this was February where I really kind of had a nice, just like back-to-back 100,000, 70,000, 79,000. Worst day was 17, and then a couple days later, 200,000, 71,000, 67,000. But then things kind of slowed down a little bit. And I don't really know. I had a good day sort of right at the beginning of the month. Got myself up a little over 150,000 in 2 days, basically. And then it's just kind of slowed down. So I would say that this right here is a little bit of the ebb and the flow. This is a little bit of that pullback. I've been trading relatively well, but despite that, we are in a little bit of a period here where the market for me has been a little bit softer. We have had some big moves, and I haven't been able to capitalize on some of them because they've been either sort of like in the afternoon, after hours, or early pre-market. I choose to trade from 8:30 to 11 or 12. Generally, I'd rather sort of set this rule that I'm always done by noon for the most part, and spend the afternoons doing other things, and that's working for me generally. But it does mean I've missed some opportunities here. But let's see. So on the year, I'm sitting at 1.47 million in net profit, 1.68 in gross profit, and on the month of March, I'm sitting at $349,000 in net profit. I haven't had the biggest winner of my career this month. I haven't had the biggest loser. It's just kind of been a slow and steady month, I suppose. It would be nice to get a couple of bigger winners, but that's just not the market that we've been given here. So this has been my month. Just kind of slow and steady. And hopefully, we'll see, but hopefully it's only a matter of maybe a couple weeks, maybe not even, before we get the next stock that really goes kind of crazy at a time when I'm able to really capitalize on it. So we've got about 8 minutes to the bell. And yeah, I see CSCW breaking that little level right there of 240. It's going to come into this yellow trend line up here, which could be a problem. So I think today's a day to take a breath and be a little bit more cautious. We'll see if anything opens up at the bell. Maybe we get something that hits the high day Momo scanner that starts to look really good. So I'll move the scanner sort of front and center here. We'll be watching this at the open. I'll just put it like that. I'll keep my main chart there, and this is my positions window. No trades yet today. And I won't be likely to take any trades in the next 8 minutes before the bell rings. I'll probably wait and see if anything looks a little bit better. And if I haven't taken any trades by 10 a.m., I'm going to shut it down. In my opinion, it's far better just to sit on the sidelines than to try to trade on a day when there's just nothing that's obvious, nothing that's clean, nothing that's moving quickly. We don't, fortunately, have too many days each year that are like this, so... I think I only have 1 or maybe 2 days so far this year where I haven't taken any trades, even though I came here and sat down to trade. So, yeah, it's pretty uncommon for me. And yeah, hey, not a bad day to go snowboarding or go skiing, or I probably wouldn't be missing much. But I'll sit here for another half hour and see if anything pops up, and if I can grab a couple of trades, that'd be cool. But if not, no sweat it. I'm not going to sweat it. Just going to come back tomorrow. Yep, the market is closed on Friday for Good Friday. So we have a little bit of a shorter week here. Well, the main issue for me with CSCW, you can see how stacked these sellers are. It's very, very thick with sellers. Lots of sellers lined up. So that makes me think that it's not likely to make a big move. I could be wrong. Maybe it does, but it doesn't look like it is. Morning, Gary. And that's reflecting the 60 million share float. Yeah, 58 million shares. So those of you guys tuned in on YouTube and Facebook, I hope you've enjoyed this morning show. Kind of a little bit of a slower start to the morning. Kind of a slow finish to the month here, but that's okay. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That way you'll get my notification when I go live. Some days when there's a lot going on and things are really exciting, I'll start streaming a little bit earlier. So if you're subscribed to the channel, you get the notification when I go live. And I want to thank Yolanda here because I checked the mail and had this awesome book in the mail. This is the same truck I have. This one's got a lot more color on it. It's actually not exactly the same. This is a series 1. I have a series 2, but it's very similar. And then I opened the book. Which page was it? I opened the book, and the first page that I landed on, where is it now? Was my gator. It also has my gator in here. So that was really cool. Thanks, Yolanda. Very cool. I didn't see, I wasn't sure. Yolanda, you'll have to just email me to kind of loop me in, because there wasn't I didn't see a specific card in here, but I see the dedication on the front of the book, or on the first page. Super cool. All right, well, I just wanted to thank you for that, and we're gonna start trading here as soon as the bell rings. We'll see if anything is popping up that looks good. About 1 minute to the bell. "30 seconds to the bell." Probably later this week, Tommy. But we'll send out an email.